Good morning on Wednesday, April 12th. It's episode 209 of the 359 podcast, and in the house today is Joan Solsman and Roger Cheng. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
What are we talking about?
We are talking about the Galaxy S8 launching, but launching without Bixby, and whether or not you actually care. We will talk about Fitbit reportedly delaying the launch of its first smartwatch. And lastly, a story that Amazon, Ben wrote, he's not here, about Amazon Parent Dashboard, a new way to spy on your kids' Fire tablet activities. Actually, I'd want this for other tablets. I don't know if I'd want this for a Fire tablet because I don't own a Fire tablet. But anyway, as usual, if you have any questions on any of these topics, leave them in the comment section. Brian will get to them. We'll pick out the best. We'll get to them in 3 minutes and 59 seconds, hopefully.
From approximately 3, 2...
Welcome to the 359, where we talk about the top tech news of the day and all the other crap we want to throw in. I'm Roger Cheng.
And I'm Joni Solsman.
We're a little bit more than a week away from the launch of the Galaxy S8, but when it comes to the US, it will be missing one key feature, Bixby. That's right, the digital assistant that played such a big part in its announcement isn't quite fully baked and will come out in the spring. Joan, you think that's going to make a difference for Samsung?
Well, considering no consumer in the US has ever heard Bixby's dulcet tones before, it's not like they're going to be missing something that they already were counting on, right?
Right.
But from reporting that Shara Tipkin has done, Bixby is a big linchpin to some of Samsung's strategy, right?
Right. They really want to put Bixby in multiple products. They're using this phone as sort of the pilot gadget to put Bixby in. But it is kind of weird that it's going to be launched. Like, they made such a big deal of it. They spent a lot of time during the announcement. And then to have it launch without Bixby is a little weird. I really wonder, and I've asked Samsung this, I haven't gotten a response, but what happens to that button? There's a dedicated Bixby button on this phone. What happens to that button when it launches? Are you just going to have a button that you push and nothing happens?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity there.
There is.
What if like it brought up like, if there's a fire, call 911 or something like
Yes,
that. Just in case, just to like hedge all bets.
If there was a way that...
Some sort of PSA.
If there was a PSA, if you could program it to do something else, like pull up a camera or pull up a specific app, that would be fantastic. They haven't said anything about this, but I'm really curious what they end up doing with the Bixby button.
A problem with that would be people get used to like, I love having my shortcut to
Right, and not use
Spotify
Bixby.
or Facebook or whatever. And then when Bixby comes along, it's like, get out of the way. I don't know.
All right, next up, Fitbit is reportedly delaying the launch of its first smartwatch. Joan, you've got all the details.
Yeah, there was a report out from Yahoo Finance late yesterday that some production and design snafus are delaying the follow-up to its Blaze kind of smartwatch fitness tracker hybrid. So it's supposed to be a phone that really takes on the Apple Watch sort of world of smartwatches, but problems like the antenna's in the wrong place, and so GPS doesn't really work that great.
That's gonna be a problem.
Also, especially with if you're taking on Apple, waterproofing isn't working. Allegedly, reportedly, that's causing Fitbit to move the planned launch from the spring in the United States to the fall.
Okay, all right. So, I mean, not a huge delay, but still a bit of a setback. Do you think people even want a Fitbit smartwatch?
I don't know. Do people even want a smartwatch, period?
That's probably a better question, and we need a much longer podcast to dedicate to that subject. All right. So lastly, if you're a parent concerned about what your kids are watching, Amazon has a feature for you. It's called Parent Dashboard. It's a site that provides a report on what your kid is watching, which sounds all great, except it only works with Fire tablets. John, is this something you would want to use?
Well,
As a mother?
as a parent, I'm terrified and confounded about what technology could do to my kids' brains.
Yes.
So I would be interested in learning more about how to, leverage a Fire tablet so that my kid can use it for good things and not for ill. But I don't know. I also don't actually have my kid on any kind of tablet, so I haven't gotten into that realm yet.
Yeah, I mean,
don't know.
my kid's too young, obviously, to use a tablet, but I guess the point of Amazon doing this is, the hope is these kinds of services will get you to buy a relatively cheap Fire tablet for your kid to use. This is an extension of Free Time, which is an app that already limits the amount of time that your kid can use the tablet, which provides age-appropriate content. It's got stuff like flashcards, and gives, again, the site gives parents a quickly digestible report on what they're looking at in the apps and video. And for me, it would be YouTube videos, right? Like seeing what kind of content they're watching is pretty clutch. So, all right. For more of these stories, check us out on CNET. I'm Roger Cheng.
I'm Joni Solsman.
Thanks for listening.
All right, so we're opening it up to the chat. Send us in your questions and comments about the stories we covered, and maybe even beyond. We'll see what we can get to today. Most notably, a lot of people are kind of in agreement with, like, then if Bixby's not ready, why are they still hawking it?
Right.
But there's a great comment from Pamela that on the other side is that the reason they're not launching with Bixby is because, like we said, it's half baked. They're taking the time to make it better and launching it with a little longer. They want to, and then she calls us out for having a problem with it. And for the record, I don't think we have a problem with it.
No, I mean, literally, the headline was pretty neutral. Like, I'm asking if you care that Bixby is or isn't on this phone. I think one of the reasons why they're delaying it, they are launching this they said they're launching it for the global version,
Right.
which probably means that it'll work in Korean. I think they need some work or some time to get it to work in English properly.
Yeah.
We had demos with Bixby. None of us were actually able to use it ourselves. Whenever they used Bixby, it was always a Samsung person who did it, and it was a very controlled demo, and there were very limited kinds of uses for it in the demos. So, I mean, even a few weeks ago during our briefings with Samsung, I mean, it was kind of clear that they were still getting the kinks out on this thing. So I mean, to the commenter's point, like, it's kudos to them, like, for pushing it back and making sure it's fully ready before it launches. It's just like a weird thing to make such a big deal of it during the announcement and then not have it at launch.
Yeah, they were counting their chickens before they hatched. It's a simple case of that.
I mean, it's one thing. I mean, Apple did this with portrait mode with iPhone 7 Plus. You know, they said this isn't beta, this isn't going to be out quite yet, but they actually were pretty clear and upfront about it. Samsung kind of implied that this was going to be like the big feature that you'd be able to, boot up your phone and turn it on immediately.
While we're at it, we talked about the Bixby button being reappropriated for possible other options. We want to hear what you would use a Bixby button for, if not Bixby. What would you guys use? Joan, I liked your idea about Spotify.
Yeah, for you. I don't know what I would particularly use.
Honestly,
for.
I'd probably do it on Twitter. I seem to tweet a lot.
Oh,
Twitter,
okay.
Instagram. Like, I'd probably have it on. Actually, Instagram would be pretty nice.
I would like my calendar to pop up on the fly. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just because I'm super over-organized.
I get notifications a lot for calendar. I feel like I'm pretty covered there, but yeah, I don't know. I'd probably change it up week to week.
Yeah.
Just to have a new flavor on my phone every week.
If Bixby isn't on the U.S. phones, what's the next opportunity for Samsung to have the splashing introduction of Bixby? If it's not going to be
it would
on
be
their flagship
the
phones?
Note 8 would be the next one. Either the Note 8 or the Gear S4.
And that's not that. Well, Note 8 isn't that far off.
That would
right?
be, well, if the timing works out, it's August, September. Is usually when they launch it. So it's a couple months away.
But it's not like a year.
No,
It's
no,
not
no,
like
no,
waiting
no.
until the next.
No,
cycle.
and it with what they're saying with the fall launch, I mean, it seems like the timing would work for it to not only go on the S8 but also the Note 8 as well around the same time. So that would be, I would guess, that would be their biggest, most marquee product for the year, second to the S8. There's the Gear S4, which is their smartwatch, but I don't know if that's a high profile enough product.
It's not a high profile enough product, but it's a good use case for having voice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was actually using the S3 this weekend trying to text my brother, and I was typing in his name, and it took
It's so annoying.
It took a really long time. I mean, once you got the
Yeah.
contact, I was able to send a voice text message, which was fine. But finding your contact was not super easy. So having Bixby to do it would be super helpful.
Yeah.
Danny Green, our buddy Danny Green, says I would have the Bixby button order Papa John's pizza.
Yum.
Yo.
You know what? I actually
nice.
think that's a great idea.
I want to
Oh my
hang
God.
with Danny Green when he
I
gets
know.
his S8. And I want to
Free pizzas.
enjoy some free pizzas on Danny.
And expanding on that, he's my hero right now. Don't make the Bixby button mad. You wouldn't like it if it's mad.
There you go.
How have we taken that long to come up with that joke?
I feel like there were enough Bixby jokes initially, or Hulk jokes that came out for the first run.
Right?
Yeah.
But not enough.
No. There's still plenty more room to go when it comes to Bixby jokes.
Question from Chad in the chat. So will Galaxy S8 Microsoft Edition have Bixby, Cortana, and Google Assistant? Seems a bit much.
That's a really good question. I don't know. That's a lot.
They can't. It's redundant.
Well,
You can do anything.
you can do whatever you want, really. It's all software, right? I don't know. I know the the Google Assistant will be activated for the home button, and then Bixby with the Bixby button. I don't know if there's gonna be like a dedicated Cortana button, so that kind of leaves Cortana out in the cold.
That's going backwards on everything. They're taking buttons away from everything. Why would they add more buttons?
You know, they wanted to go retro with the Bixby button. You know, they
More
kept,
buttons.
They kept calling it a walkie-talkie like
Buttons.
experience.
And then next year they just pull out a calculator.
Well, they do have their own calculator, which is kind of insane. Like they decided to put people to work on a dedicated calculator app, even though Android has one. They wanted to create their own.
Here we go. Gerard in the chat says, would like it to be a dedicated camera button just to do
That's smart.
hit
Yeah.
shots, snapshots, just one boom without even having to worry about the loading up
Yeah.
screen.
I think that's probably
They would
what-
Even
argue-
hold it down for video.
So they've
Yeah.
argued. Actually, that's smart.
Yeah.
That's really
Uh,
smart.
They argue that there's already a dedicated camera button. The home button, if you double tap, is the camera's quick key.
Oh, nice.
For Samsung. Yeah.
I would think.
Although there's no physical home button anymore, so you
Mhm.
kind of have to like find it now.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
It's the
Is there a
screen.
confirmation? Will it like click for you if you?
I don't. Maybe I haven't had a chance to actually click the home button on that. As ridiculous as that sounds, so I don't know if there's like a haptic feedback thing like iPhone, but I imagine there is. I don't know.
I would be worried about having that dedicated, but there'd be a lot of video in the inside of my pocket. I like at least a double tap
Yeah.
gives me a
Right.
little extra insurance.
Did you just like, see a key graze by?
Yeah. A lot of people are saying that they are pretty indifferent about the Bixby situation. They're more interested in the screen,
Yes.
specifically Nubs. Did not order for Bixby. I pre-ordered for that screen.
I mean, the screen is pretty gorgeous.
Gorgeous, yeah.
Yeah. It's like it blows the iPhone away. I mean that AMOLED screen.
It stands out too. I was wandering around a Best
pops,
Buy the other
yeah.
day. I needed to go buy Rogue One,
Oh.
and I went to a physical store to buy a physical DVD. Woo!
Oh my god, so retro.
Wait, you
know.
bought a DVD or Blu-ray?
Blu-ray,
Oh,
Blu-ray.
okay.
To be fair,
Not quite. All right, so not totally retro.
but in the phone displays, yeah, the that S8 pops. It really
Yeah.
does, and it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
even like the display's all that fancy. You can see it from a mile away.
Yeah, it's huge and it's colorful. It's vibrant. I mean, that really is the marquee feature. I mean, if anything, that's what people are buying the phone for. It's all about the screen.
Yeah. Have you guys had any experience with the? I mean, we don't have an S8 in office here, but from anything we've gotten exposure to, has
Mhm.
anyone seen the VR in action? People are asking about.
Oh.
I didn't get a chance to try it out. Scott did. I imagine it's going to be better, but not like significantly better. I mean, the screen quality it's bigger, and I think they packed a few more million pixels, which makes a bit of a difference. But I mean, it's not like it's not 4K, it's not 8K or anything like that. That's
Mhm.
really what you'd need for it to make a difference in the VR experience. I mean, I think incrementally bumping up the number of pixels like this, I don't think wholly changes the VR experience.
We should
The-
have Scott on sometime to kind of elaborate on it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The big change is the controller, right? The
Yes,
controller.
yeah, exactly.
Which isn't a screen thing.
No,
but
it's not a
yeah,
screen thing, but you're right.
obviously.
It's like Daydream. It has its own controller that's motion sensitive, which yeah, I've argued like they should have had that from the beginning because
Yeah.
the control scheme is kind of weird. You're touching the side of your
Yeah.
headset. And you're not really sure what you're grabbing, and it's
No.
it's
yeah.
a little disorienting.
It can be a little awkward.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll give them kudos for coming out with it so much earlier than any other.
Absolutely, and
mobile-based
doing it
VR.
cheaply.
Yeah, and doing it in an affordable way.
Yeah.
I like David's comment. Hi, Cortana. Ask Google Assistant to open Bixby. What? I love that. Wasn't there a viral video not too long ago about an Echo fighting back and forth with the Google Assistant?
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
was
yeah,
caught in
yeah.
this
Was it a
infinite loop.
Twitch? Was it like a Twitch live feed or something? Or,
Probably.
like-
I just kind of remember it popping through like a Twitter feed or something
Yeah.
like that. It was golden though.
yeah, it got real esoteric. and,
When
like,
we get the
everything
S8
else.
in, let's see if it can get it to fight itself.
Fight
But
itself.
Bixby won't be around.
Well, eventually though.
Oh,
eventually,
when
it
it
does.
loads up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When it
yeah.
comes, I would like to see that. Wouldn't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. We should get them all in a circle here. Get Siri involved, although Siri probably wouldn't interact with any of them.
Siri will just sit out the whole thing.
Siri, yeah, Siri's like, no,
Be
I'm
silent.
too good for this.
Jerry's asking to elaborate on the VR. Does it come with free VR?
Yes, if you pre-order the Galaxy S8, you will get the new Gear VR with the controller as part of the bundle.
And is the Note 8 going to get 4K?
I have no idea.
No idea.
That's coming in the fall. That's months away.
Yeah, too early to
There
tell.
isn't a lot. There aren't a lot of rumors on the Note 8 yet, just because everyone's been focused on the S8.
Bridging into competitor territory, Zachary's asking, when do you think Apple will ditch that giant home button?
Oh, Apple question. I'm thinking this year. This is it, man.
You think so? With the
Oh, yeah.
anniversary edition kind of makes
For
sense,
the anniversary edition. I
Yeah.
mean, for one of their models at least, they're gonna ditch the home button. It seems like that's the trend of the year is getting rid of the home button. You saw LG do it. You saw Samsung do it, obviously, and now pressure's kind of on Apple to do it, or else it's gonna look like it's a little slow if it doesn't get it in this version.
Yeah.
Right.
It's all just turning into giant slabs of glass.
Right. I mean, the key that I want to see is whether or not Apple can figure out getting the fingerprint sensor underneath the screen. Like if it can work on the front like it does now with the home button, like I think that's a pretty big leap considering Samsung couldn't quite get that done. The fingerprint sensor is in an awkward spot, like kind of right next to the camera.
Yeah, that's still weird.
Yeah.
That's still weird.
That always bugs me.
Hey, before we wrap it up for the day, because we're getting close to the end here, our friend Jesse Gaidman, the contributor,
yes,
the winner
Jesse,
of the
yeah.
Punch Roger in the Face contest.
Thank you for those photos.
He
I will cherish them forever.
He received his prize package. He's saying
good.
thank you.
Awesome.
We want to say thank you again
Yeah,
for
man.
participating. That was a lot of fun.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll do something like that.
I want to
again
go
in
on
the near
record that
future.
it's not fun to punch Roger in the face
How would you know?
because punching people in the face is bad, especially my friends. Please don't do it. And
those are all
rant, rant.
correct statements. I wouldn't refute any of them. But no, thank you for taking part in our little fun we had for our 200th episode. So
We'll just have to see what we do for 300.
something that doesn't involve me being punched, hopefully.
We haven't been literally punched yet.
All right.
no punching.
Or figuratively punched. I
no
don't know.
punching Roger, please.
Ben,
All right.
Ben, Alfred.
Not
Kidding. Kidding.
Not Ben. Not Alfred. Don't punch anybody.
Well, I don't know if that's an absolute solution.
All right.
That's a good place
That's
to
a
wrap
good
it up.
place to wrap things
Is it?
up. I
Is
don't
it?
know. Should we take another question to kind of like?
Palate cleanser?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't have anything right now.
All right.
We're just talking about punching.
Yeah. That's. I'm sure that's how the comments have been steered to. So, all right. With that, if you liked anything you saw or heard here, check us out on CNET. Our podcast is also available on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, FeedBurner, and Google Play Music. See y'all tomorrow.
Later.